Joe from RX Healthy Habits. In this video series, the third video, we're going to go through and talk about the question we've been answering previously, getting some answers to, I want to say, and that is, how many calories can you consume in a day to maintain your weight? Now, this is a broad estimate, so I'm going to give you broad estimate numbers for the average person. This is what the experts say you should have: about 300 to 400 calories for breakfast, anywhere from 500 to 700 calories for lunch and dinner, and no more than 200 or 300 calories from snacks. Now, that's a broad estimate, depends on activity level and such, but that's an average. Now, if you notice, a lot of the fast food chains have this information usually posted up on their boards when they give you calories for their content of some of their products, which I think is kind of interesting because sometimes some of those items are over 1,000 calories. So anyway, let's go through and talk about, we went in previous videos to talk about how to calculate your total energy expenditure, which is your BMR plus your physical activity level plus your TEF. But now let's talk about, what would be the number of calories that I would consume per day, and then when you do your calculations, you'll know what you should be consuming. So here's what I came up with. My BMR is 1490. My basic metabolic rate, if I do nothing, just my normal organ function, is 1490. My TEF is about 220. And my PAL, because I'm somewhat active every day, 5 or 6 days a week, or at least 5 days a week, for an hour, I can consume 2,300 calories per day. So my goal should be on a regular basis to be thinking about doing 2,300 for me not to gain weight. All right. Now, what does the average American consume per day? We talked about that 2,100 number. That's the 400 for breakfast, 700 for lunch, 700 for dinner, and the snacks. We talked about 2,100. What's the average American consume? 2,500 to 3,600 calories per day. So you know why we have an obesity problem in America right now, where 42% of Americans are obese. This is why. Also, as Americans, we consume way too much sugar, about 17 teaspoons of sugar per day, more than we should. And then we have 57% of our calories are coming from processed foods. Not good. So now what happens when you have 3,500 calories extra input, or calories in versus calories out, because you didn't expend them? You gain a pound. So if you're gaining, a quarter pound, half pound on a regular basis per week, then you're exceeding, maybe not the 3,500, but you're getting maybe an extra 1,000, 2,000 per week. So let's go through and talk about some typical calories in some of the foods that we eat right now. And I'm not going to go through all these, and I'd like to take more time, but I want to keep this video short. And I want to encourage you to go and find some of these numbers with any calculator out there, a calorie calculator. There's so many different programs out there. I like some of the ones that are household names, but I also found some newer ones lately that I think are easier to use. You got to find what works for you. But for breakfast, let's say we're trying to count calories. Did you know a bagel and cream cheese is probably going to be about 380 calories, maybe a little bit more, depending on the type of bagel, but 300 to 400 calories. That's with the cream cheese, but a small amount of cream cheese, like a teaspoon and a half. Cereal can go anywhere from 100 to 350 calories per cup. So you take some of these very healthy things like Mucilex, or there's the granolas. Sometimes those are 350 calories per cup. I know you eat less of them, but you got to think about that for a second. That is an awful lot of calories just from the cereal. I like to get some of these fancy, I used to like to get some of these fancy coffee drinks in the morning, like I'm not going to say the name, but it's it's from some of the big coffee shops nationally. Some of those can be up to 490 calories in a cup of fancy coffee that's got some of the extra things. All right, I can say the name. No, I'm not going to say the name, but you know what I'm talking about. Even some of the lattes that you can get at different locations, those sometimes can be very high compared to what you think they'd be. So you have to really watch what your beverages are too. Boston cream donut, about 220 calories. A glazed donut, maybe a little less at 175. For lunch, you start adding that up. Hamburgers and fries, anywhere from 500 to 700 calories for a hamburger and fry, depending on the portion, depending on the toppings, but it can range. Chicken Caesar wrap, we always think, I'm going to go healthy, I'm going to get a wrap. Anywhere from 350 to 580 on some of these wraps. It's crazy. Regular soda, 240. A juice, apple juice, 240 for a 12 ounce. So, and you think about the super size, wouldn't want to go there. So, dinner, just a few things. Spaghetti and meatballs, anywhere from 400 for 1 cup of spaghetti and meatball to over 800 if you do 2 cups. That's crazy. So you get an idea. Top sirloin steak, 5 ounce, not a bad choice. 285 calories, so that's not bad. But then when you add the potato, the butter, the roll, then you're in the range maybe it's going to exceed. Chicken, good choice, right? Chicken breast, 6 ounce, usually 417. It's what you add to the chicken and the other things on the plate, right? We could talk about that at another time about portion control. And I think in one of my videos I talked about portion control with snacks. But here's some of the takeaways that I wanted to bring up to you. Number one, I really think you need to know the approximate calorie counts and portions in some of the food you're eating. So my recommendation, get a program that you're going, look at some of these, and before you eat it, read it. Because when you start doing that, you're going to start saying, whoa, 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 I can have the steak, but it can't be like a 12 ounce, can't be a 12 ounce portion. Especially when you're going out to eat. It's very important to know that. But even at home, you're going to have to probably start looking at portions and measuring for a while. Cups, you can get a scale, very inexpensive. Start doing that because it's going to pay huge dividends. I would recommend, if you really are serious about this, track it for 7 days. Start tracking your intake for 7 days, and you'll see how close you are to that number that you should be hitting for your TEE, your total energy expenditure. And you'll say to yourself, you know what, I really need to make some changes. And again, I think it really comes down to finding an app that you like and sticking to it and using it. But also, really be open to reading and learning more about nutrition, because it really comes down to calories in, calories out, and a big part of your life is going to be really focused on getting that part straight. I believe it's 80% of your fork and only 20% of what you do for exercise. Some might disagree with that, but overall, if you have a life that you can't always do incredible amounts of physical exercise every week like I have, where I have varying schedule at work, I have to say to myself, really, I'm going to win this battle with a fork and not necessarily with the barbells or my bike, okay? So hope that helps. Next video, we're going to talk maybe about some other things you can do. If you like some of the information, don't forget to please subscribe by clicking the button. And if you have any questions, comments, there's a couple ways you can reach me. My email at joe@rxhh@gmail.com, or you can leave comments below and we'll get back to you. There's also our YouTube channel called RX Healthy Habits, and also our Facebook page with the same name. You take care and take control. It's your health and you deserve to have the best.